In this video, I'm going to have a look at performing a Dell Data Wipe from within the Dell UEFI BIOS setup of a XPS 139365. The XPS 139365 has a tiled UEFI BIOS setup menu, similar to Windows 10 settings. Now, before you attempt to use Dell Data Wipe on this model, make sure your UEFI BIOS version is up to date, as there's been a multitude of fixes for Dell Data Wipe. Unfortunately, not everything is fixed, and I found a pretty critical bug with it, which can be worked around. So at the time of making this video, the latest version is 2.11.0 for this XPS 139365. So let me just exit out of system information, and the general tiles look a bit strange, so let me just click onto system configuration and then go back to general and see if they refresh right. Okay, so they refreshed right this time. I'm not sure why they didn't previously. Okay, so one of the previous issues I think with Dell Data Wipe was with secure boot. So I just want to make sure that secure boot is enabled before attempting to use Dell Data Wipe. And in my case, it is. So I'm now going to go ahead and select the maintenance tab. And then I'm going to select Data Wipe. And then I'm going to select Start Data Wipe. And then I'm going to select OK to continue the operation, acknowledging that it will wipe all internal drives. And I'm going to select No when I get asked the negative question to cancel the Dell Data Wipe. I'm then going to select Apply. And now I'm going to exit the Dell UEFI BIOS setup. So Dell Data Wipe should now begin. However, I noticed that my system hung on this Dell logo and Dell Data Wipe did not proceed. So this system had Ubuntu 20.04 installed on it, and the SATA operation was changed to AHCI to allow the Ubuntu 20.04 installation to proceed. Now, there seems to be some conflict with Dell Data Wipe on this model when the SATA operation is set to AHCI from RAID. So what I'm going to do is power off the Dell and then power it up and press F2 to enter the UEFI BIOS setup once again. And now I'm going to select System Configuration. And then I'm going to select SATA Operation. And I'm going to change AHCI to RAID. So I'll get a warning that the system may not be able to boot when the SATA operation is changed, and it may require an operating system reinstall. So I'm going to perform a Dell Data Wipe, so none of this matters because all internal drives are going to be wiped anyway. So I'm going to select Apply and then confirm the changes. And now I'm going to select the Maintenance tab. And I'm going to select Data Wipe again. And once again, I'll select Start Data Wipe. And I'll select OK to proceed with the operation. And then I'll select No to not cancel the operation. And then I'll apply, save the changes, and exit the Dell UEFI BIOS setup. Now this time, when I exit the Dell UEFI BIOS setup, I'm presented with the Dell logo, which the system hung on before, and then I'm presented with the prompts for Dell Data Wipe. So I'll need to select Continue, and then I'll need to select Erase. Now, since this system only has an NVMe solid state drive, the secure erase is going to be pretty quick. It'll be done within a couple of minutes. If you're using a model with a mechanical hard drive, it's going to take several hours to do this. So I'll be informed that the Dell Data Wipe operation has completed successfully, and I can select OK. Now, after performing a Dell Data Wipe, your internal drives are blank and they have no boot entry. So when the Dell cannot boot, it's going to start pre-boot system diagnostics. Now, in this case, the hardware is good. We've actually told it to securely wipe the internal drives, and it has. So the hardware diagnostics aren't going to find anything wrong with the hardware. And what we actually need to do now is power down the Dell and then insert either a Windows 10 bootable USB or a Ubuntu 2004 bootable USB and begin the installation from that. Okay, so if I power up my Dell and press F12, I'll get to the UEFI BIOS boot menu. Now I see two UEFI boot devices, Ubuntu on the internal drive, which has been securely wiped, and the SanDisk bootable USB, which has Ubuntu 2004 on it. Now, when I installed Ubuntu, I added a machine owner key, and that got stored in the UEFI BIOS, and that's the reason why it shows within the UEFI BIOS, even though the internal drive has itself been wiped. So I can go to boot sequence and then remove the boot option and select Ubuntu and go ahead and remove it. And that will remove the old machine owner key from the UEFI BIOS setup. Now, I also realized that I forgot to change the SATA operation back to AHCI. So I'll re-enter the UEFI BIOS setup and select system configuration and then select SATA operation and change it back to AHCI and then accept the warning and then apply the changes. Okay, so now I can power up the Dell and press F12 and get to the UEFI BIOS boot menu and then select the bootable USB. And in this case, it's a Ubuntu 2004 bootable USB, but if you used a Windows 10 bootable USB, you would get the Windows 10 setup instead. I'm not going to go through the installation of Ubuntu 2004 or Windows 10 version 2004 in this video, but I've covered them both in detail in other videos, which I'll leave in the video description.